Hello, everyone. Welcome to our franchise owner interview today. Today, we have a brother and sister here that is going to tell us a little bit more about their journey and what it's like to be a HomeWell franchise owner, Jeff and Meredith Clark. Now, when we do these, we want to really provide value back to you guys in allowing you to see what it's like on the day-to-day, how somebody came to their decision, and then also find any commonalities that you may be having while you're exploring the opportunity. So to get it started, I am just going to introduce Jeff and Meredith Clark and allow you guys to introduce yourselves a little bit, tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to HomeWell.
I'll go ahead and kick things off. That's okay, Meredith. My background is in basically pharmaceutical, medical device sales, and more recently, early education. And I held positions of senior responsibility in the sales area and operations areas. Did that for most of my career, and then came back to Texas in the early part of 2021 and wanted to, do something on my own because I've always been working for a large corporation. So Meredith and I, and I'll speak for you just a little bit, Meredith. Meredith has a background in sales, both in pharmaceutical and medical device as well. So very similar backgrounds, in fact, one of the same companies. Meredith was already back here in Texas near the Austin area, and we started talking about, okay, what could we do differently? So and do on our own rather than working for somebody else. So we looked at a number of different franchise opportunities. We looked at sign companies, and we looked at a number of home care agencies and others. And I was connected with somebody from a broker that brokers franchise deals, and HomeWell came up, and so we were very interested from the beginning, and we started speaking with Christina, and we considered all of our options, and then the process was really good because of the validation calls that happen, the ability to I guess shadow another owner really gave us a good feel for what this business was about, and we thus made our decision to move forward with HomeWell. And another reason kind of in the background is Meredith and I, our grandmother, this is a number of years ago, but our grandmother had gone through this period where she needed home care. And she was living in Florida. Our family was in Texas. My mother found some people from the church to take care of her, which ended up not being a very good arrangement. They took advantage of her financially. They took advantage of her personally, and didn't do the things that they should have. And so we found that this was really an organization, a company that we could be passionate about as well, because our goal is to make sure that we take care of our clients and treat them as we would want when our family members treated. So this is really how we came to HomeWell from the beginning. Meredith, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
No, I truly think through the conversations with other owners and Christina that we felt that there was a good connection that we could stand behind here. And we also found the territory we're in would be very suitable for the elderly care. So that was helpful as well.
Yeah, and everyone we reached out to with regard to our validation calls was very, very helpful, very, very transparent with us. And everyone was like, let us know if you have any other questions. And we felt like there was a really good network of owners.
Awesome. So now that you've come on board with HomeWell, tell us a little bit about what is your favorite part of owning a home care business?
Well, I'll jump in real quickly. I enjoy being able to meet all of our clients and families and connecting with the community in the elderly care. So the sales piece is my favorite part, and being able to say that I own the business with my brother, and having that family connection with them is extremely rewarding.
I'll add, and in all transparency, I love not having to report to anybody other than myself. So, and I love the operational side of this business. And I think building the team that we have right now, we have two other office personnel, a care manager and a hiring manager. And I love the fact that we built that team, that we celebrate our successes together, and that everybody jumps in when needed. So that's really, what gets me up in the morning.
Absolutely. And talking a little bit about the roles within your business, what do you guys do on a day-to-day? So Jeff, let's start with you. What is your role within the business, and what does a typical day for you look like?
So I'll say that primarily operations is what I do. I handle all the finances, the vendors, the billing, payroll, and if there's a client, if there's challenging client conversations, I handle those. If there's some challenging caregiver conversations, I'll handle those as well too. But I do think that one of the most important things about our business, Meredith, while she's pretty much just focused on sales and marketing, everybody else can do everybody else's job here. So, there may be a day where my hiring manager's out. She was out yesterday, and I did 2 interviews and orientation for one, and hired another person. So, we're all able to jump in and do each other's jobs. So no day does a day doesn't necessarily represent everything you might do. And no day actually, looks the same as the last.
And before we move on to Meredith, how much do you work? Like, how many hours do you think you put in a week?
So I'm here typically by 8 o'clock. I leave typically at 5 o'clock. If you're on call, you're going to be taking calls in the evening. So definitely take calls on the weekend. And one of the things too that Meredith and I have done is that we've approached this as we don't want to miss for our clients. We don't want to go without care. So if your caregiver calls off and half an hour before the shift, typically one of us will go. We have missed a few shifts, but we don't like it, and we try to avoid it as much as possible. So there may be weekends where, we have to go work a 5-8 hour shift, so that happens.
So do you keep those 8 to 5 hours based on that is kind of the schedule you have been accustomed to throughout your career? Or is that because you feel like that's when the business needs you the most?
I'm not sure I completely understand your question, Christina. I mean, this is my career. I've always worked a lot of hours and weekends and nights and traveled all over the place. But so we do what we need to do to make sure that we take care of our clients.
Absolutely. I love that you put them first. We are definitely a people-driven business. So Meredith, what about you? What does your day look like out there going and doing the sales and meeting with clients and referral sources?
Oh, Jeff likes being in an office. So, and having the hours on the door is important to him. If I'm in the office, I'm not doing my job. So I try to stay away other than Mondays. And I really book up my own calendar based on what activities are happening in both of our territories. I'm out networking, popping by doctors' offices, just all my referral sources. And probably 4 of those days I wear scrubs just by chance that I have to jump in and help out. One of our best practices, and I think it served us extremely well with client referrals, is introductions. We introduce all of our caregivers that are new. So there's a lot of running around with that. I also do the assessments and input those in the computer properly 90% of the time. So, we're always looking at Clear Care or Well Sky, however you want to call it, and making sure everybody's on schedule, in the right place, thinking about if someone isn't in the right place, what are we going to do? How are we going to pivot and make sure our clients are always serviced? They come first for Jeff and I to an extreme. I mean, there's probably four meetings or 4 visits that we have missed in a year and a half. And so sales and then caregiving and introductions.
You could also add into that, Meredith, you do a lot of networking and you're really good at it. You probably maybe 2 networking events a week. And that's one of the things that has really been successful, helped us, our business out, is how well and effective she is at that.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about that success. I love telling you guys this story because Jeff and Meredith, they opened about 14 months ago. So just into their 2nd year now. And this past conference, Jeff came up to me and he was talking about expansion already. So tell me a little bit about the launch of your business, how that looked and what you've expanded to.
So yes, we did. We just bought 2 new territories. So we bought a territory that's kind of just south of Austin and north of San Antonio. And it was a growing area. In fact, I think it would probably be two territories now. And we have our hands full to some extent because our business continues to grow and be successful. But we also know that we can be effective at doing this. We can be successful in this business. And I think we've demonstrated that already at this point. And we know we wanted to have opportunity for our future growth and did not want to be limited to one territory. And North San Antonio made the most sense for us in terms of expansion. So it was available, and we worked with Christina and Brandon on pursuing that, and recently closed that about a month ago, I think it was. And so we are working to, while our current territory continues to grow pretty rapidly, we are also focused on how we're going to, move that business forward down in San Antonio, because we think that represents great business opportunity for us as well.
Absolutely. So a lot of times when candidates come to us, they're debating, should I go with a single territory? Should I go with multiple? And I do utilize you guys as an example of starting with one, really understanding the industry, and then understanding where you want to go as well. So if you could, what would be a piece of advice you would share with future franchise owners who would like to see early success like you?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to start with one as well. I think you have to get your feet underneath you. If you haven't run a business before, and you haven't been in this business, I think there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to understand about setting it up and organizing and just getting all your T's crossed and your I's dotted first. And I think somewhat probably depends too on the size of the territory that you have and what that looks like. One of the good things about our purchase decision was that we still are centrally located with this 2 new territories. But quite honestly, we're probably at some point going to have to open up another office in San Antonio. And the last thing you'd want to do right from the very get-go is try and get 2 offices up and going. And I won't speak to financials other than you're looking at a lot more cost to do that as well too. But I think the best thing to do is get in, learn the business, and then look for where your opportunities to grow are. And think about that when you make your purchase decision in terms of what's around you.
Yeah. So Meredith, I'll go to you with that question. What is the competitive landscape like in your market? Do you feel like there is still enough opportunity for you to continue to grow in all 3 of your territories now?
Absolutely. There's definitely opportunity, but there is a ton of competition. And I think, though it's not hard, it's actually easier to fight against a company that does the home health, the caregiving, and the hospice. So really staying focused and quite honestly, replicating what we did in New Braunfels is exactly what we need to do in San Antonio. It might be on a larger scale and more people involved, but I think this business is all about connections and connecting with healthcare providers and people in this space. And fortunately for us, I have been very successful with meeting a lot of the right people and earning their trust by always showing up and doing the extra things that we do.
Yeah, I think you can overcome a lot of those challenges of competition by actually delivering and making sure that you're providing a great service. And I think that's something we've established for ourselves.
Absolutely. I always say immediate and consistent feedback, right? That always helps people really trust you and know what they're getting from you. So what is the biggest value that HomeWell brings to you? What do you see, with the HomeWell brand and what we offer our franchise owners?
Meredith, you want to go?
I mean, I think some of the marketing pieces are good. They're add-ons to the basic caring for an individual. Jeff and I, when we started this, what we liked best is it's like being a baker and getting a recipe. We had never opened our own business, so that was beneficial. There was some kind of a template. There were a lot of things that went differently and, that caught us by surprise, but it was nice to have the team able to bounce ideas off of, and the openness of our counterparts has been amazing. Ronnie and Jeff speak closely. I speak with his salesperson, Juan. So having people that really do want to see each other be successful and help them get to that next level has been one of the biggest assets of being a part of HomeWell.
Yeah. I'd say without a doubt that the network of owners and the openness of owners to share ideas and collaborate and help each other out is probably the biggest asset. But I think, to reiterate what Meredith said too, you're buying into HomeWell because of the guidance that they provide, right? You've got a good brand name and you're going to need the guidance from them, especially if you haven't been a business owner, because there's a lot of things that we didn't know going in that HomeWell either explained to us or connected us with the right people to make good decisions.
Absolutely. And do you feel like you're getting value at different stages of your business? I know you guys are still fairly newer, but I know that your first 6 months looked a lot different than now does. Do you feel like you're continuing to get that added value from HomeWell?
Well, I do feel like I've got HomeWell support. I feel also, though, that we've got a really good handle on our business and understand what we're doing now. So our franchise business consultant, which we've been working with, Brad, is just phenomenal in terms of if I need help with some reports, things like that. Brad's an expert on the WellSky system, and he's given me some really good feedback when I have questions. And I still reach out to other owners as well too when I have questions, if it's something I feel like they have good expertise in. But yeah, I feel like I've got HomeWell there if I need anything. So.
Absolutely. I love that. I think the power of a franchise owner network is huge. Now, some people actually think that having a neighbor would provoke a little competition or maybe not quite as friendliness, but I know you and Ronnie have a pretty good relationship. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like?
Well, Ronnie was our first real owner experience, because Meredith and I went up and chatted their office. They were kind enough to give us, I think it was 3 or 4 days, Meredith, where they just walked us through everything that they're doing, the systems they're using, and so forth. And so Ronnie and I hit it off, and I think Meredith as well with the rest of the office staff. And that's who she's talking about is Juan. That's their sales her sales counterpart up there. No, I don't think, we've got our territories, and we we share ideas. We share caregivers. We've got some territory that borders each other. We've used his caregivers and he's used our caregivers when we were in a pinch. So if I have a problem and
We also make apologies. We also extend apologies for caregivers. We're equal in that department.
No, it's been it's just been a really good relationship, and there's no competitiveness. I told Ronnie how many hours I was doing yesterday, and he was like, "That's phenomenal. That's great." He couldn't be more excited for us. So it's all about we want to build the brand. We both recognize the value in building the HomeWell brand, not just in our territories, but throughout the country and anywhere we grow. We know that only helps us out in the long term.
Awesome. I love that. I love that attitude. So I want to thank you guys. I think that kind of is bringing us to a wrap up point today. If you guys heard something and would like to talk to Jeff and Meredith, reach out. We'll schedule a one-on-one. But before we go, I'm just going to throw it out there. Tell us something about you that most people would never guess. Tell us something different here.
Wow.
I put you on the spot on that one.
I'll speak for Jeff. I think he said earlier, he is an introvert.
Yeah, I didn't know that because you're always so nice and so friendly when you speak. So I wouldn't have realized that.
I'm a nice introvert.
Any hobbies? Any hobbies we wouldn't know about you?
Me, now golf, and I was probably more active running and so forth than I am right now, but occasionally get out there. So,
Awesome. What about you, Meredith? Tell us something we don't know.
I probably travel would be kind of my hobby. I didn't know that I had to leave the state of Texas to get a shift off. So I'll travel as much as possible. You got to leave the country or definitely the state to get time off from the business. I have a fashion background, so I spend a lot of time still reading real magazines and staying up on all that kind of stuff. So that's about it.
Critiquing us.
Well, scrubs need to look their best.
Hey, I actually understand that. I feel that. So, well, thank you guys both for being here. We appreciate it. We love having you in the HomeWell family. And thank you everyone for attending. Next month, we will have another owner. So continue to look at those emails and plug into the system.
Good luck, everyone.
Thanks, Christina.
Bye.
Bye.